So this first poem is called Sonder for her. Walking on Pilbeg Street, an hour before midnight, I notice a girl huddled in a tattered blue sleeping bag, hunched against the October cold, the wind biting at her bones, with a face much like my own. We are mirrored in age, though recently her circumstances have changed. Chance is a game we play. Did her last roll of the dice leave her fearing things she never thought of twice? Is she afraid she will die tonight on these cracked cobblestone streets through which someone can slip so easily, with the howl of a banshee in her ears calling slowly for her breath to be stolen with the cold before the sun can rise to give heat to her bones? Is it true that she hasn't known warmth in weeks? Is it all she can hope for in this faded out sepia-toned dream? Does she ache for it as she attempts to lie down and sleep, to dream of the mundane brilliance she knew of fresh sheets in her own bed, lying in on a Sunday till whenever she pleased, not to be woken up to be told she better find another place to be by another guard who doesn't know what best to do with the displaced people, the half-forgotten of our society? Does she find solace in all that she can? A stolen glance from a passing stranger, that person who showed her some kind behaviour. I wish I could walk by her at a different time and know her circumstances mirror my own. Wonder of the story that is her life, what gives her that bright smile. As we do ponder another passers-by place in this world, wonder where she is off to tonight. What is it that gives her love in her life? But homelessness is the story of our times. All these questions are written into her face, etched into the lines, but there is hope within her eyes. As they meet mine, I see there is a fire inside, hoping that she will soon see better times. I think of what I can do for her tonight. As I walk by, I acknowledge her presence in the streetlight's illumination. I give her what I can and let her know that I see her. For a moment, there is connection here. We are connected in the hope that change is near. Thank you. Sound, thanks. So on that note, this poem is called Grange Gorman, and it's about a squat that was evicted a few years ago. And there's mention of the rebels of 1916. I saw the tired faces of friends, indignant, dissident, determined, lit up bright by the helicopter lights that hovered above us in the night, rudely awakened by the noise of grinding machinery powered by Garda uniform and private security, encroaching on our vicinity. Intimidation, violence, and hostility was their only method of tyranny. They erected fences and chains that separated people temporarily. They thought of us as lesser because of their self-assumed disparity. It was their lack of morality that allowed them to act so horribly, their choices fueled by apathy. Evicting people from their homes becomes the new reality. For every one homeless person, 73 homes lie empty. This is modern day Ireland. Have we forgotten that only 100 years ago, Plunkett and Pearse gave their lives so we could be free? Parnell, who stands stone on his pillar built on the foundations of the Land League, would crumble to dust if he knew. Landlords still take homes of these. The dissonance of the past, a history of verse, rings true and fuels the dissonance of today. Poets and people's voices, fiery with rage. Our ideas acting as a catalyst for change. On this hour of eviction, 4 riot vans stood on either side of the street, ready to release their batons that could beat and their pepper spray that could sting, wanting us to fall to our feet. We stood tall, backs held straight with conviction. This inner city crowd could resist this dereliction. If only the governments and corporations could gain some clarity, their blind eyes would see that you can only find unity when you strive for peaceful community. The guards could never imprison this idea that homes and lives should be free. If there's one thing you take from these words, it's this. People from our history proved it's okay to disobey. It's possible to pave another way. Let not our bricks rot and our buildings lie vacant. Our collective spirit cannot fade away. Unlock it without the key. It's time to take it back. Take back the city. Thanks. Cheers. I have another piece. It's a new piece that I wrote this week. I was kind of thinking about the idea of how the voice is powerful and the personal is the political. And it's called When Words Speak. When you were younger, you remember how your mother sat scribbling a note at the old kitchen table. Still now, you can see it, how she looked up when she told you that the pen held such a power that made it mightier than the sword. It was a passing moment as she glanced down at the splattered ink across her hands. When these words were spoken, you listened and heard that there was this idea that words could change the world. And within you something stirred, with the youthful wonder of a child who stood poised at the feet of your mother, writing at no more than age 4 or 5. You understood lives could be marked by incredible ink or a kind motive. So now, when you move through the world, you wear your heart on your sleeve. With honesty, you try to move your wrist across the page, keeping your words close to your breast. Anything spoken beautifully is Maquishla, Macree. Your words rise from your breath, aware it is all connected to something greater than you. When you know nothing lasts forever, a realization comes through that there is a community of others who have shared their words with you. Listen to the past speak to you. Recite the bars of your heart. Let the phrase play on repeat. Creativity is courage and kindness to yourself. Know that within this vulnerability, there is strength. Honesty is a currency that captures something that can be shared to connect and commune. When you get the chance to tell him how you feel. When the tears come, let them fall down your cheeks. When you get the chance to change things, change them for the better. When you speak, let the words sing when you tell it. When you get your moment to tell the truth, be honest with yourself. When words are spoken, they carry a weight. So your stories are preoccupied by people in your life, for those you love. You've learned the personal is the political, and we can all speak of our own truth. People don't have to listen, but you'll thank them if they do. Because you've learned the art of listening is a sacred part of being alive. How as humans we each have a story to tell. Each voice is important and can pass through time. And that this voice is important because this voice is mine. So when I tell you my story, I hope to tell it well. And when you tell yours, I'll listen as best I can. Thanks. Cheers. Thanks a million for having me. It's lovely, and thanks to Emmett. So I wrote this poem especially for the event. It's called After Connolly. And before I begin, I'll just share a quote that I found that he wrote. And it's, "No revolutionary movement is complete without its poetical expression." So this is for him. We sing songs of a deep history in the name of James Connolly, a martyr of great significance who left an indelible impression of his politics long before the memorable conflicts of 1916. The 7 signatories signed into effect the ghost of a sentiment, an ardent guiding light of resistance that would be left in their wake, an elective radical rhetoric of the working class collective who put cause over comfort, who knew the value of what we lost and the value of what we could strive to become. It was Connolly who inherently knew, ní saoirse go saoirse na mon. With Maud gone, he marched a black coffin down Sackville Street and welcomed women to the citizen army. Alongside Countess Markovich, he was seen leading the charge of those comrade in arms with equipment funnelled through Hout in the Asgard. For a planned movement, knowing soon execution would come, he gave his life to the struggle of proletariat emancipation, suffered scars in the effort for the plough and the stars. It was the shock of his death orders that swayed the minds of the people. As there is a certain cruelty to the act of being shot at dawn, strategic warfare to deny someone their last view of the light. But there is a certain courage but there is a certain courage that holds true of the human condition in Connolly here too. A defiant spirit secured swift by a screw, the twist of wire clasped to the wrist held securely to the infamous infirmary chair as gunfire bullets through air. A head held steady for the plight of a nation whose acts of strength have brought about enough justice to hope on this side of the grave. Think of how his beautiful wife Lily cried, "Your beautiful life, James," and his humble reply, "But wasn't it a full life? And isn't this a good end?" An air, smoky and thick, will clear in silence, with an unseen morning still rising to light.